Susana, many of these people might not have heard your story, so I'm going to start and just have a brief interview with you, and I want you to tell them what you went through. Where do you work?
I work at the University of Washington.
And what is your role there? What do you teach?
I'm an instructor in the intensive English program, and my job is to teach international students that come from all over the world to teach them English.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've been at the university since 2006.
So you've been there for almost 12 years.
Yes.
Have you ever had an issue before this recent issue that arose relating to the comments you made and the report that was made on you? Ever an incident of the discipline, complaints, anything at all before this recent incident?
Well, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Now, you were instructing your students in English, as I understand it, and the phrase bucket list came up.
Yes.
And many of these students do not have English as a formal language, and they were curious what a bucket list is. You explained that, and you said you wanted them to explain what was on their bucket list. Then someone asked you what was on yours.
Yes, a student asked me. Of course, I never talk about me, but when students ask, because we spend every day together intimate moments, he asked me, "Teacher, what's on your bucket list?" And being a Christian, and that is on my bucket list, I shared that I want to tell people about God.
And what was the immediate reaction in the classroom? Was there anybody going, or any immediate reaction in the classroom?
No, everybody was fine, and we continued with our lesson plan.
And as I understand, at the end of the quarter, after you passed out grades, one of the students who didn't do well in the class filed a complaint against you on the basis of that remark.
Yes.
What did they say? What was their complaint?
Well, she complained that I made her environment unsafe, and because I mentioned the word God in the classroom.
You didn't mention Jesus or Allah or Yahweh or Jehovah. You just mentioned God.
I just mentioned God, yes.
And this student, correct me if I'm wrong, is a Muslim.
Yes, she was a Muslim student, yes.
So we assume she believes in God, the generic God.
Yeah, I would think so.
And the complaint came after you did not pass her.
Yeah, I did not pass her, so I felt it was more of a retaliation. Students do often complain about grades, but she certainly took it to a very different level.
Let's talk about what happened next. What was the reaction of the university to the complaint?
Well, I was contacted by my director, who made it sound very serious, that a formal complaint was filed against me, and it's serious, and they summoned me to a meeting where he was there, and also the HR. So I immediately felt it was very serious because the HR was in the room.
And what was the nature of the inquiry? What kind of questions did they ask you? What were they trying to get out of you in connection with this incident?
Well, they read me the complaint of the student, and they were asking me if those are true, and I explained in which context this word God came up, and then that was mainly what happened, yeah.
But they started asking questions, I understand. You were asked, for instance, if you had a Bible and if you read it on campus.
Right. My director knows that I'm a Christian. I've been in this department since 2006, and I don't hide my faith. I don't ever want to hide my faith. It's not like I go around and say, hey, I'm a Christian. But when things come up, I give my views, and I do tell him, as a Christian, I believe such and such. So he knew that, and I think he tried to kind of trap me. I don't know if that's the correct word, but he asked me, do you read your Bible on campus?
On campus?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crime, I understand.
Yeah.
Especially at the University of Washington, my old school. Did you detect a tone of hostility or negativity as they asked you these questions?
Totally. Yeah, because I felt like he asked me, I'm reading a forbidden book or something. That's what it sounded like.
On campus, you are. So where did it go from there? I mean, after they asked those questions, how did you respond, and how did the interview progress after that?
Well, the interview, the way I felt was like they didn't believe me, and I felt the whole time that I committed a crime by saying the word God, because with this particular student, there were two incidences actually outside the classroom. She was crying one day, and she shared a very personal information with me. So all I did is put my arm around her, and I said to her, you know, when I face difficult times, I pray. And that was one of her complaints too, that I told her to pray. But I never said pray to Jesus, you know, because I knew she's a Muslim. So
I thought faithful Muslims prayed 5 times a day.
they do.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was almost, they pointed actually to the Executive Order 31. Are you familiar with the order? It's a discriminatory harassment order saying that, you know, you cannot harass or discriminate against religion, race, gender, marital status. So they pointed that I violated this order, and a letter, formal letter, was placed in my personal employee file because of this incident.
Is this the first such personal letter of some violation of rules that's ever been placed in your file?
Yeah, this was the very first time
very
in
first
2015.
one.
Yeah.
What impact does that have on your career
Well,
or your status?
Well, as a union member, the union grieved it and they fought it. They lowered it to a lower, not a formal complaint letter, but an incident letter. But I believe that because I had another complaint recently in 2017, they are connecting those two, and they're holding that against me.
What was the second complaint?
The second complaint came in the fall quarter 2017, and this was by a gay Chinese student who complained that I am racist, that I hate homosexuals. And again, I was summoned to a formal meeting.
And that came out of the nature of an assignment that you gave the students to help them improve their English. What was the assignment?
Well, this was a teaching lesson because this was in an academic reading and writing class, and the whole goal of this class is to write an essay and use different rhetorical styles. So one of the styles was opinion, argumentative writing. And during this lesson, when you teach argumentative essay, it is very important to teach the opposing view, because I explained to the students, you need to include that into your essay to show that you are open-minded, that you are tolerant, that you're not a bigot. So in this particular lesson, the students came up with hot topics, and one of them was gay marriage. And during this time, we discussed the pros and cons for gay marriage. And this particular student was gay, and I guess she felt uncomfortable discussing the cons.
But you were trying, as you teach these students English, and again, English is not their first language.
Right.
They're learning English. Your attempt was to teach the structure
Exactly.
and write an essay and be an argument, both pro and con, having to
Yes.
consider both sides. Did you say anything at all in the course of the lesson that you didn't believe in gay marriage or
Never.
was wrong or sinful?
Never.
It was just, these are arguments for, these are arguments against, include these in your writing.
Exactly. Yeah, because the charges against me she had made were that I am against homosexuals, which I was stunned. I was shocked because the word homosexual never came up in class. We only talked the word gay marriage. And by the way, there were other topics on the board like guns and illegal immigration, transgender, marijuana. So gay marriage was not the focus.
Right, okay. What's the result of that second letter? Where are you now with that?
Well, now I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm actually on probation because they connected to 2015, and again, they pointed to the Executive Order 31 once again, that I violated it. They took a word of this one student. By the way, her friend, during the investigation, she has a friend who came out and also complained to kind of help out the complaint. And the interesting thing is that in this class, I had other students, other Chinese students from in other countries and other religions, but they never interviewed the other students. They only took a word of these two students.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have the opportunity to call other people to give the argument or present a side that you had not said these things?
No, they never gave me this opportunity
Really?
because they immediately accused me of being a homophobe, a racist, and I mean, the things that they said to me is ridiculous, especially racist. I mean, over there's my husband who is black and my son who is biracial, so I'm such a racist, I can't believe it.
Now, I understand that your mother came from Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, we came from
You came from Czechoslovakia, so you have in your background some experience with totalitarian systems that
Yes.
compel you to believe a certain way and treat you a certain way. Did you feel like maybe you got off the wrong bus stop and you were back home rather than in
Sure I
America, land of the free?
Actually, I did. During that meeting, I thought, oh my gosh, is this a dream? Am I back in my communist regime where you cannot speak your mind or cannot, and I never do speak my mind in class, but when things come up and are asked, I tell them the truth, what I believe. Because my other liberal teachers, they can say they hate Trump or they hate this, they hate that, but I can't say it. So I thought, where am I? Am I back in my country? And my mother, by the way, I told her about this. You know what she said to me? She said, why don't you just come back?
Well, yeah, Czechoslovakia is probably freer now than America.
Oh, it is.
Yes, they've learned.
Yeah.
So where are you now? Are you still employed? Is this a cloud over your head? Are you fighting this as an appeal process for you?
Yes, I am fighting this. Thank God, to my union, although I think they could do better, but, they're still doing their job. We filed a formal grievance, and I am fighting it. But they gave me a final warning saying that employment is not assured, and I have a contract coming up because I get a yearly contract. I don't have a tenure. So I don't know if I'm going to get it or not in the fall. So right now I am employed. Yes.
Well, hopefully you have a really good attorney, because this is incredible. This case, because it was brought to my attention by someone else, and by a listener who knew you. We had you on the show, and I had a lot of
Holly,
people
by the way,
respond.
she's here.
Holly here. Holly.
Holly.
Are you here?
Yes,
Well, let's
she's
say
the
hi.
one. She's the fire behind all this.
And this is the kind of
Thank
reason
God
that
to her.
I'm in radio, because I want to bring this to public light, because I don't think people really understand the war against faith that's being conducted within our public institutions. And let me say this. Can we have, please, a round of applause for Susana for what she's doing and going for?